Hello, Tisha.
Hello, Melonya. How are you?
Happy
Uh,
Friday.
Happy Friday to you. So we're going live a little bit later. We're thinking about shifting our time to what do we say, like mid morning? So that's why we are here at mid morning. So, what do you got going on today?
Well, first let's say hi to people. Hi. My
Hi,
name
people.
my name is Melonya Johnson, and you are.
Tahitia Timmons. You know what? This is funny because you were like, who's going to work controls when we were ready to enter the room? And I was like, it's my turn. I'll do it. And then I just completely dropped the ball because I was just like,
Here
here we are,
we
room
go.
open.
Yeah.
Like, how does this work? I don't even know. So yes, yes. So I'm
Welcome.
Tahitia. This is Melania. Our information is up on the screen. Please reach out to us if you need any coaching or speakers or anything. Just want to chat. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
So,
Welcome.
anywho,
Welcome to
I,
NP Fridays, filling the brain drain one unscripted conversation at a time. And so, what are we talking about today?
what are we talking about today?
Mm.
So, I I want to talk about the overwhelming marketing and sales that gets pitched to us every day as human beings. It's just everywhere. It's like overwhelming. So, and by that I mean that every conversation lately, follower, whatever, is very AI, at least for me, is very AI marketed to. And it sounds like a canned message. And honestly, it makes me sleepy. I'm a little tired of the overwhelming selling that chronically occurs. Um, so that's what is on my head. But I didn't really do a lot of research for this week because
Well, this is just about feelings.
it's feelings.
Feelings, nothing more than feelings. You know, I'm always ready to talk about advertisement because I find it absolutely exhausting, and people who have lived outside of who look at America from outside, or expatriates, to talk about coming back to visit and seeing how much how much we are inundated with advertisement. But here's the other thing, and this might piggyback, and I know very little about this, but I just want to put it on people's radar screens. Um, our this regime is partnering
Did
with.
you say regime?
Yes, I did. Is partnering with a company called Palantir, and
That sounds friendly.
that's no, that's a company you should be aware of because it's collecting and compiling so much of our data, and because of Doge's intersection in our government and its access to information, and part of this linkage is because of Elon Musk. They are going to have more access to our information, from health records to social security to bank accounts, to the ability to be able to track us and where that information is going to go and how it's going to be used is just something that people should be aware of. And you absolutely know that part of that is going to be used to mine us, to sell more to us, to own us in some kind of way. So yeah, I just want people, like I said, I haven't done a lot of research. This company's come up a number of times, and I want to do
And
deeper
then
research.
and the name of it again?
Is Palantir,
Palantir.
Palantir, Palantir.
What was the what was the bad guy in Star Wars? Wasn't there like a Palantine, like Governor Palantine, I think was a bad guy. Like Star Wars fans will probably be able to know this. Anyways, if anyone can send me what the name of the bad guy, I think it was like, or maybe I'm confusing Palpatine with Palantine, but the name of that company sounds like an evil guy in a movie. A lot of the stuff that comes out lately has names of things that sound like old evil TV shows. I'm just gonna say that from the 70s and 50s and 60s. Like I'm noticing a lot of similar nameage for like bad sci-fi stuff. Anywho,
Well,
but
we're living in a bad sci-fi.
it does feel like it has a lot of components of apocalyptic or bad sci-fi movies, or a return to authoritative leadership, infighting around like you know, what we want the future to look like. It's just this very exhaustive. I think I entered this space exhaustive. Exhaustive, that's not a word. Exhaustive? No. Sounds like something that would come out your car. Exhausted. Which I do believe many of us at this point in the year, it's May, right? It's still May, are exhibiting signs of burnout and fatigue so much earlier in the year. Or actually, I almost feel like this is usually when people start to feel energized, and I'm not getting that from people lately. Like, like you come out of winter and you start to feel like re-energized because the spring is here, and I just don't feel that way this year. And I thought some of that was tied to the chronic and constant marketing that people receive. Like, I know I feel like that drains my energy. The being advertised to, and then there's always a little bit of sadness, right? If you click on something and then you realize you can't afford it. And then there's always a little bit of sadness if you click on something and then you buy it and you realize it's not any good once you get it. So I just feel like the overwhelming marketing cycle, the images of kids that are like doing the scrolling like move, it's just making me a little down. And now would be the happy time, right? Spring is happy time.
Well, and I'm going to segue back to what you were just saying. So, in between, Tisha and I talked while we were doing our morning walks with our dogs this morning, and between that time, I've been on my computer searching for air purifiers because there are some fires in Canada burning in Saskatchewan. And they said, and the smoke from that should be hitting the Great Lakes late in a few days. And I'm like, okay, I went through the sepia colored skies and airs. If you remember that crazy photo from New York City when the smoke from Canada came in, it was bad. And so um, and so with that being said, now that I've been looking at air purifiers, it's going to come up everywhere. It's going to show up in Facebook. It's going to show up anywhere that I go online. Advertisements for purifiers are going to be there. But what I'm finding is, here's the thing. Uh, I think that the constant advertising, I think that's probably doing something to our psyches. Like, for example, I live on YouTube. And before you can even get into the video that you want to watch, you have to sit through a commercial or advertisement, and you're sitting there like Pavlov's dog, except for you're the dog with the control, just waiting for that skip to come up so you can hit the skip button so you can go back to see actually what it is that you started out wanting to see. And right before they get to something of any the depth of their content, you're segued off to another commercial, or they're doing in video commercial. So we are just constantly being advertised to. And I think that really, and it's a punishment. Like for YouTube, if you don't want to the commercials or the ads, then you have to pay, a subscription price, right? So they know that it is a form of punishment. And so I look at all advertisement at this point, it's kind of like a punishment. We're just being inundated and punished with all of these things that's trying to part us from our peace of mind and our money.
It's funny that you mentioned that because my son the other day he had some friends over and they were watching something on television, a movie or whatever. And I overheard them talking about streaming plans, which is an odd conversation because everything has commercials now, but we also pay to watch commercials. So, and this is something when I stop and sit and think about it, when I'm not in chronic go, 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 because I think many of us live in a go, go, go. We have to constantly be doing things just to survive, whether that be waking up to go to a job, making sure that you made lunch so you don't have to buy food, like all of these things that we do in the daily day. But what they were talking about was his one friend said to him, he said, like, "Hey, like, you guys must not be on the premium plan because, like, we're watching a lot of commercials." So there's almost like this other layer that's sort of like, if you are making enough money, which you mentioned, or you can pay, you can buy your way out of this advertised to, right? So we pay to get advertised to on subscription streaming plans, no matter really what it is, unless you're doing something like a Tubi or whatever. Like there are some free services, but they have ads too. But when you think about like how there's this underlying or there's this message too going on at the same time, we want to return to the past. We want to return to a time when like things were different and like back in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the world was better. The one thing I will say is absolutely better in the past was that the commercials we saw, we didn't have to pay for. Like, do you remember when people had antennas and people like if you bought cable back then, you did not buy cable with commercials. The point of the advertisements for cable subscribers were they were able to opt out of all of that advertising. And then we saw people become so interested in the entertainment they were watching that they were willing to pay for a subscription and also because people love discounts. And if you're willing to watch one or two commercials, it's going to be a little cheaper. So and I find it very interesting as we begin to tolerate more things, or we assume that this is just the natural course of behavior, we are more likely to be advertised to. If you said to somebody living in the 50s or 60s, "Hey, here's your television, but you're going to have to pay $100 a month and you also have commercials." Like I think they would be shocked. Like we didn't like watching commercials back then was regular public free TV. My parents didn't pay to watch like NBC. Like all of those channels we had, we weren't paying for. We were paying for it by watching those ads. Now we pay to watch the ads and also get the entertainment. And if you don't want that, like you said, you have to pay for a premium subscription. So when did we allow, because I remember when Hulu was free.
Yeah, I had a free Hulu account. Yeah, I absolutely did. Um, yeah, you know what? But here's the thing, and it kind of leads into what I was talking about earlier today on the walk. How much my soul and my mind and my spirit needed to be. I'm lucky enough to live very close near to a Olmsted Design Park system, and it's a beautiful park, and it's in the middle of a city, but it makes you feel like you're connected to nature. And I follow a lot of folks, creators, content creators who talk, who homestead and who have chose minimalism and different, alternative ways of living. And I'm wondering if there is going to be a point where Americans stop being consumers And right now, the things that are going on with tariffs are making it more expensive for people to purchase and live. And so people may start deciding to opt out of being, the heavy consumers that we've been. And
Do
but
you
I
really think so?
I think that I think people, what has been very interesting. I know some people have some allies, and some people have been supporting Black folks in their boycott of Target and Amazon and Walmart. But some people have gotten on. Some folks have gotten on social media and said, I'm saving a lot of money. I didn't realize how many times that just for entertainment I went into Target, or I went in to buy one thing and then I came out, a couple of $100 lighter in my bank account. But people are, they're and again, because food prices are going up, some folks are tending having starting gardens and things of that nature. And I wonder if this could potentially be the beginning. And again, with inflation and things going up, you can't afford to buy some things. And so I wonder if people will start to feel that I need less stuff. Or, I don't know if it's going to make them crave things more, because the advertisements aren't stopping, right? But or if they look at life and go, you know what, I don't, half of this stuff I don't really even need. I don't know. I hope that's the way things move. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Nope. No. So I'll keep talking. So my dissertation. No. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping that the fever breaks and that we stop becoming consumers. I mean, here lately, I've been really thinking about what it means to live a more simplified life. Not. I'm. Can you talk? Say something. Did I hear something? No. Yeah, from technical difficulties. But I've been wondering, I live a pretty simple life, but I'm thinking, are there ways for me to even simplify things more, and not being a consumer? We are set up in the United States to be consumers. I mean, it was very interesting with the trade war that was going on between the United States and China. Some of the Chinese creators, content creators, talked about how um, how few American products they had. What? Because we don't make anything. But you would be loath to find a household in America that wasn't filled with Chinese made products. We're having some technical difficulty. Is something not plugged in? Hmm. I hear a little pop, but when you do something, let me fill you in on Tahitia. Tahitia is always unplugging, or Cat is unplugging something, or yeah, something's always going on with her. Where where's the cat? Put it in the chat. Something's always going on. Something's always going on with Tahitia. So, well, anyway, with that being said, No, you don't know. I hear you. Say something. Can you hear me? I heard a sound from something. Well, hey, let's end this. We're having technical issues today, folks. So let's end it. I'm gonna we're gonna close out. See ya.
Say
Hello. Oh, okay. Can you say
what?
you? I can hear you now.
I'm just gonna go.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah.